What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Unhinged Ginge. I am Bo, episode 4, getting going. So I last left you, I was in Orlando, or leaving Orlando actually, just kind of like blown my life up. And I'm about to move back in with my parents and deal with all of that. Wasn't really proud of it, but we all fuck up. And we've all been there. I had to do it twice. I did it again when I was 30. Fantastic. So we'll get started with this one. So I'm back in Virginia. I'm depressed. I'm dealing with my nonsense and my feelings that I'm not really good at processing because I'm 19 and who is. And I'm looking for a job because that's what needs to be done first and foremost. I need to start making money so I can get the fuck out of here. Period. That's the most important thing. So I'm applying around for jobs everywhere. And so I was driving and I drove past this shitty little chain restaurant and something just kind of told turn here, turn now though. And for whatever reason, I guess I did. I turned. And that's where I got a job. And also where I ended up meeting what would be my soon-to-be husband and then soon-to-be ex-husband 6 years following. So I pulled in, started working there, got to know this guy, started casually seeing him, nothing too serious. Was also sleeping with the kitchen manager at that same place as well. So, and I think I might have hooked up with the server. I don't know. It was a lot. Was doing the most, trying to keep myself busy and definitely preoccupied from my feelings and my feelings of failure mainly. So from working at that job, I was also trying to hang out with some people, and I didn't really know that many people because I left right after high school. So the only people that I knew were the people who stuck around. And go figure, I ended up going to hang out with the same. Were you fucking in the bathroom? I ended up going. She doesn't sound like that, by the way. She'll probably kill me for doing her impression that way. But I ended up going to a little house party. We called them Gettys. A little Getty with her and her old friends, not the people who were on the trip with us, but her group of friends that she grew up with. And then, yeah, that party, this guy walks in. And I remember just when I saw him, I was like, who the fuck is that? I just thought he was the most handsome thing I had seen at the time. He was tall, dark, handsome, and covered in tattoos. He had this cool, weird, deep voice that was just interesting. I'm a sucker for a good voice, at least a distinct one, and his was different. I hadn't heard anybody who talked like him before. And yeah, we sat down, we started talking. Turns out he was dating the friend of the friend who was there. So I was like, oh, great, perfect. He's occupied, he's taken. So I'll just mind my own business. But we had this really great conversation about skateboards because I used to go out with my friends and skateboard when I was in college and would borrow this guy's longboard. And I was telling Daniel all about it. And Daniel's the guy at the party. I was just 46-inch concave pintail Sector 9 bamboo series. And I'm just rattling off all of these things about this board that I was didn't get to use anymore. And he's like, oh man, that's really he's like, that's dope, blah, blah, blah. Just getting some good conversation. We're talking about life and music and shit and whatever. And he's like, I don't know, 9 years older than me. I have a hard time keeping up these days. But yeah. So he was still seeing this girl, but he sold weed. So I needed a dealer. So that's how I ended up staying in contact with him. At first, more often was because he was my pot dealer. He ended up not being in that relationship anymore. We started flirting, and then one thing led to another. He asked me if I wanted to hang out one night, and of course, I absolutely fucking did. And we were just driving around, because there's nothing to do in this town where we lived. So he's just driving around, enjoying each other's company, and he's like, so, you want to get a room? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I guess he said it because he thought that I was kidding, or he thought, I don't know what he thought. I don't know if he was trying to make a joke, but to see how I would respond. But I guess that was the response that he was thinking I would have. Because clearly he didn't know me that well yet. So we ended up going to a fucking Holiday Inn. And we stop at this store nearby, and he goes in and he grabs like champagne and strawberries and flowers and fucking beer and shit. And comes out to the car. He opens the car door and he puts these flowers in the marathon because these aren't for you. It's like, that's cool. He's like, oh my God, Bo, I'm fucking kidding. Jesus. I'm like, oh man, my self-esteem or lack thereof is out on like full blast. God, how we have changed. Oh man, I was really, really more than willing to accept absolutely nothing from these men besides just about, you know, and like what, nothing but good or bad sex. It didn't even fucking matter. I just wanted attention. That's what I needed. I'm like, love me, love me, love me. So yeah, so that's not me anymore, but damn it, you know, he threw those flowers on my lap. These aren't for you. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so anyway, we go up to this room. He ends up getting the fucking hot tub suite, which in hindsight is like, woof, I wonder how well they clean those things, but didn't matter at the time. We got busy all over that fucking room. We had a good time. We talked and just really enjoyed each other. It was a really cool night. I don't know. I'd be falling in love left and right, and so I fell in love with that man so fast after that night. Like, woofy, man, ooh. But I was seeing him, and I was also seeing the KM, who was also seeing the GM of that restaurant. Restaurants are so incestuous, man. We all just be up in the family fucking each other. It's crazy. So I was seeing the KM and the bartender who ended up being my husband. And Daniel he always had his fingers in a lot of honey pots, you know what I mean? And he always had a lot of different side hustles going on. He was always really active, just doing something. So not to be surprised that sometimes, you know, you just don't get contacted. It wasn't a ghosting situation because that wasn't so much a thing back then, but it absolutely fucking felt like one. So fast forward just a little bit, I started spending more and more time with who ends up being my husband, and Daniel kind of just disappeared for a couple of weeks. I don't know what he was going on or what happened, but in that couple of weeks that he was gone or not contacting me, I was rapidly falling more for my husband. And we were having sex one night, and he said, what would you say if I said I could do this with you for like ever? And I was like, oh my God, absolutely. I would love that. That sounds amazing. Fucking idiot. So we were lying there, and it's like, was that it? Did we just get engaged low key? Like, was that what that was? And yeah, it turns out it was. That was what it was. And so we were like, oh, fuck it. We're both off on Tuesday. Let's get married. We weren't planning a wedding. We were planning shit. We were just like, let's go. Let's just be with each other. This is awesome. Let's just be with each other. Ugh, man, it's so weird telling it now because it's just like, what? God, you were a fucking child. You were a baby. What were you doing? Ah, as that's her, and I forgive her for her indiscretions. Anyway, bygones. We were gonna get married on Tuesday, and it just did not feel right to me. I did not tell my parents. I don't know why. It wasn't something that I normally felt really obligated to do too much, was to tell them what I was doing with my life, just because I've always been more like, I'll fucking figure it out. I don't want anybody's help. Unless I absolutely need to have help. I decided to tell my parents. They did not seem pleased. He was with me when I told them. They pulled him in the bathroom and talked to him for like an hour or so without me. And that's in my parents' bathrooms, like where we go smoke cigarettes and where we have family talks and things like that. It's a small bathroom just with a big tub. We use the tub like a bench, and we all sit in there and smoke and talk. And it's been the main scene for many a deep talk with many a human in or out of family, to be honest with you. Deep talk with Sandy, that's my mom. Deep talks with Sandy happen in the bathroom while we're chain smoking and drinking all the time. So, because it's because of the vents. It's because of the vents. Because the vents pull out the smoke. It doesn't. The bathroom smells like smoke. It's been 20 years of smoke. Whatever. Anyway, bygones. God, I just keep rambling today. Enjoy. So they pulled him in the bathroom, and they were talking to him about what it means to marry their daughter and who I am, and that you can't settle down, like you're gonna have to travel a lot. She is really random. She changes her mind a lot. She's all over the place. you have to be quite a person to be able to do this and stick with it, because she's going to be pulling you all over the place. But if you can, I'm sure she's going to take you on an incredible adventure. And also don't fucking hurt her, you know. So, yeah, they had that talk, I guess. I never got too many details about it, really, besides what I just told you. And it seemed to be fine. They really just wanted to do something for us. So they really just give us a week. So we pushed it off until Saturday. So, oh no, I'm sorry. It was on Saturday. We got married on a Thursday because it was weird as shit. So we waited. It was a Thursday. It was the following Thursday. And it was 4/19 because we didn't want to do it on Friday. We didn't want to do it on 4/20 because we wanted to be able to take the 19th and the 20th off, so that we would always have 4/20 as a holiday that we could take off work and we could blame it on our anniversary. So that's where our priorities lie. And so we got married on Thursday. My parents kind of threw something together. We had a little sushi platter and a bunch of wings. He wore a Slayer shirt and his favorite pair of jeans that were ripped, and neither one of us are big fans of underwear, and so he had a hole in his pocket so you could see his ass cheek. And then I was wearing this green and white checkered sundress that nobody told me, A, did not fit, B, like, looked like shit, C, was see-through. So luckily I did wear underwear that day, because whenever you took a picture, you could see straight through my dress. It was this green and white checkered sundress. And then I just like bought on the flat. That green and white looked great with my red hair. My mom wore baby's breath in her hair when she got married, so I thought I would too. She got me the little one, and it was really cute, and I thought it would look great with this dress. But unbeknownst to me, it was just, this was before my best reduction, so it was just like boom. It was just tits for days, and I don't know, it wasn't cute, but I didn't care. I was in love. And his family wasn't super fun, so my family's a laugh riot. They're out of their minds, but his family's not super fun. So it was kind of a clash at the weddings because we're having the best time. His family's like, who the fuck is this bitch? Anyway, so then let's fast forward. We get married, and I bump into Daniel at the grocery store a couple weeks after that, and he was still in these, like, I didn't know where he is, and I hadn't talked to him in a while. He's like, hey, how are you? It's good to see you. I'm like, yeah, where have you been? He's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember what he told me, but he was gone. He's like, so what's new? What's happening? I'm like, well, I got married. I was like this, oh. I don't know, it was weird. I still don't know how I feel about that moment. I feel like in hindsight, in that moment, I realized I fucked up. The second I saw him and I felt the way that I felt about him still. I knew that I wasn't prepared to be anybody's wife because I was only half in, but I made a commitment, I made a promise, and so I pretended like I was all in until I was all the way the fuck in, and I definitely was pretty shortly after that. Yeah, so both of us were living with our parents when we got married. So it was like, I'm not staying here with my parents. My grandparents were living with my parents too. This is a full house. I'm not doing this right now. So we ended up moving in with his mom. And that was awful. She's a very nice lady, or at least she was to my face most of the time. She would say little snarky things when he left the room, and he never believed me. But that's okay. That was very much his style. I don't want to turn this into a ex-husband bashing fest by any stretch of the imagination, but if these little guys sneak in from time to time, please don't blame me. I'm trying to have some decorum, but it's a little bit difficult when you've been burned. I know all of you get it. So, yeah. So, oh, fun tidbit. Backtrack real quick. The guy that married us was ordained, and he was actually friends with my husband's mom. And he didn't want to marry anybody again because every single person he got married got divorced. He's like, I am cursed. Do not let me marry you. I don't want to. And we're like, oh no, please, please, please. So we don't want it to be religious, and you're not a priest, so we need the ordained guy. You're the only ordained guy we know. And so he did it, and your street's still solid there, honey, because we didn't fucking make it either. So yeah, crushed that one. And thank God for that. I'm glad we didn't listen to him, and I'm glad we were cursed. So yeah, I guess if we're gonna kind of bleed this into when the first couple of cracks started coming up in that relationship, it wasn't long. It was very shortly after We got married in April, and my grandfather had died in July. I only have one set of grandparents, my mom's parents, and my papa was awesome. He was the only person really that could ever calm me down when I got pissed off. So he was very special to me. He was also an Aries. He knew how to talk to me because, we understood each other. And my husband at the time asked me if he needed to take off work for the funeral because it was Saturday and it was a money day, and he didn't think that it was that important to attend with me since he barely knew the guy. And I should have known then what I meant to him, because he was more concerned about money than emotionally supporting me in a time of need. It was the first relative and besides my mentor who had died, which was a completely different kind of situation, also really fucking tragic, but very, just different. So that sucked. And he said that. It was kind of when the red flags started showing up a little bit more. And that was only 3 months in. This relationship lasted 6 years. So, but I guess it's not too bad for only knowing the guy for 10 weeks. Oh, I didn't tell you guys that. I knew this guy for 10 weeks. Okay, so... Sorry, I got stuck on my dead grandpa for a second. All right, so another thing that would happen is we were, honeymoon period. We're banging like bunnies. Everything's fine. I didn't think that there was any type of issue. And then as we were together longer and longer, the sex just got slower and slower, happening. It just wasn't happening as frequently as it used to. And I was like, what's wrong? I'm 21. I got married just over 2 weeks after my 21st birthday. So I was a baby getting married, which I had no fucking business doing. And so since that's the case, my self-esteem wasn't there. My frontal lobe hadn't fully fucking developed yet. I don't know what I was doing. It was ridiculous. So what ends up happening is the sex is getting further and further apart. I am thinking that there's something wrong with me because my husband won't fuck me. And I'm like, what is this about? He's just playing video games all the fucking time. Just constantly playing video games. I tried to get him on and play with him. He eventually got a Wii. And so I was doing back when it was brand fucking new. So we were playing Mario Kart and shit like that. I was trying to be a part of what he enjoyed, but he refused to be a part of what I enjoyed. And now I can't even remember what I enjoyed back then, to be honest with you. I wasn't a big fan of it. So I figured maybe if we get him out of his mom's house, this will be better. So we saved up our money and we got an apartment. So we get an apartment in Virginia and it's okay, cool. Same shit. Nothing's changing. I'm like, all right, well, this sucks. So then we do mushrooms one day. It's this weird trip. He kind of goes into this crazy state and he keeps saying, insulting me, saying all this crazy weird shit. And then he keeps referencing his ex-girlfriend. I'm like, what? Because I'm tripping, but I'm not tripping like that. And so I'm having to babysit him because he's he turns it, he infantized himself, and he kind of reverted back to a child. And it was a very odd situation. And after that, I was we gotta get the fuck out of here. So I decided that we should move. He followed along with it. We put the names of cities in a hat that we liked, and we picked out 3, and then we went to go visit, and we ended up landing in Austin, Texas. And we were in Austin, Texas for a couple of years. I started working at a restaurant and bar down in the thick of it, off of 2nd and Brazos in the middle of downtown. And that's when I met Raina, who is going to be coming up more and more frequently through this Austin chapter. So I will be doing a little intro to her very soon. We had this moment where we met some people who lived in the apartment that we moved in. They were a crazy couple. And we went to this really cool karaoke bar in a parking garage. I don't remember what it was called, but we went there. Me and this chick had gone up to the bar to order shots, and he comes in from outside smoking, and he comes in behind me and puts his arms around my waist and goes to kiss me. And I was like, fall back. This guy's about to buy us shots. And so he walked to the other side of the bar and gave me a little wink and a thumbs up. And I was like, oh man, we trust each other. This is fun. He's letting me do my thing. Wow. We're growing or something, or evolving. I don't know. It's finally going better. which was also short-lived because it really wasn't. I think it was just kind of the awe of being somewhere new and yada yada. So I'm working at this restaurant in downtown Austin with Raina. I was serving, I wasn't bartending at the time. And we had just hired a new executive chef. And I was at the computer ringing in my order. My GM is behind me and he's like, boom, hey, meet the new executive chef. And I'm like, he can hold on. I am bringing shit in. I am busy. I'm working for the people who pay my bills. I'm not concerned. I'll be there in a minute. So I finished ringing my order. I turn around and I'm like, hi, I'm Bo. And I look down at this hand and then I just start scanning upward to this giant man. And I don't know, we just locked eyes and something was just like whoo. It's like I got hit by a bus. And then he's like, hi, nice to meet you. And this voice pops out and I'm like, oh, fuck me, I'm getting divorced. Ah, shit. It was like, that was the first thought in my brain. It's like, I'm getting divorced. Fuck. All right, here we go. So then later on, like maybe the same day, maybe a couple of days later, but pretty soon after this encounter and this man started working there, I was sitting outside after work with another coworker, Rebecca and Raina. Rebecca was listening to me and Raina bitch about these terrible dudes we were in relationships with because Raina was also in a relationship with a guy for a long time. They weren't married, but he was a piece of shit. So, Rebecca was like, you guys already have the answers. If you just listen to yourselves when you talk, it's very clear what you want to do. You just need to do it. And it's like, no, but fuck you. She was right. So I, shortly after that, ended up leaving within like a month after that conversation and after the new EC started. We started flirting and we never did anything. We did not do anything because he was also married. We did not do anything, but I feel like he was kind of going through his own shit. The way he was describing it, it sounded like he was also married to like the female version of my husband, but I got along with her really well too. So I mean, I don't know, maybe just like those love blinders that you get. Because I'd be falling in love left and right. I was desperately in love with that man too. Oh man, we'll get to him later. Before I go on another bow tangent. Whew. Yes, ADHD is raging and the meds don't work, so I don't take them. All right, sorry. Anyway, so I leave him, right? I leave my husband, and now we're in this limbo period where we had to wait 90 days before they could finalize our divorce. So I told him I was going to leave. I filed papers shortly thereafter. I wanted everything done very quick. So between me saying I don't want to be with you anymore and me being legally divorced, it took about 3 or 4 months. So in the time after I left him, I was so ready to get dicked down and meet some fucking people that I just decided to do that, really, to do that. So I didn't want to stay home, obviously, because like I said, I was sleeping on the couch. I figured I'm the one who's leaving. He can have the bed, right? So I was sleeping on the couch or just staying at randoms' houses or friends' houses. And and then I ended up hooking up with one of my coworkers, not the executive chef, because like I said, he was still married. But I ended up hooking up with one of my coworkers, Terrence, and I go to he was roommates with Rebecca, so I would go over to their place and stay the night from time to time. But it was funny because I didn't know, I'd been out of the game for like 5.5 years at that point, so I didn't know how things had changed or what have you. So when I went over to Terrence's house to hook up the first time, I was just like getting my shit on and I was getting ready to leave and go back home. And he's like, you can stay here. And I'm like, oh God. Because I'm used to being like in Orlando where I know my motto was, thanks for the it's time to go. Get the fuck out of my house. But apparently that wasn't the thing. He's like, no, I'm not going to think you want to be in a fucking relationship with me just because you spend the night. Like, it's late. You can sleep here. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's nice. All right, cool. So I ended up hooking up with him on a regular basis. Because, you know, post-divorce, you need a fuck buddy. You need one, and you got to find one quick. And there were some follies that happened with that one, too. Man, oh, one time, after we've been hooking up for several months and I was sleeping with way more people, one time I was having sex with him and I called him, I think, 3 or 4 different names before I got to his name. So I stopped saying people's names while I was fucking them after that. That was fucking embarrassing. But luckily, Terrence either didn't notice or just really understood who the fuck I was and what we were doing, because he did not care and he didn't say shit about it. But it was hilarious. And then also one time I went over there after work. Man, I was on a bender. I was really, really, really trying not to go home because me and my soon-to-be ex-husband were fighting all the time, of course, because that's what's going to happen. It was just fighting and crying and like, don't leave, yes, leave, blah, blah, blah. And then he wouldn't fuck me, my ex-husband, that is. And he like made a reference to like, we should be fuck buddies. And it's like, are you serious? One of the big reasons why I left is because you didn't want to be intimate with me. And now you have the fucking caucasity to ask me if I'll be your fucking fuck buddy. Get fucked. That's insane. Okay, anyway, bygone. So, I was with Terrence and I had gone to work. It was raining. So I was wearing rain boots and shorts because I had to work on the patio. So I was wearing rain boots and shorts and my work shirt. And I had gone and stayed with Terrence that night and then went back to work the next day. And it wasn't raining, but I didn't have shoes. So I still wore my rain boots. I was wearing the same outfit, including the fucking rain boots again. And then I came back the third day, same outfit. I washed my clothes. I washed my clothes at Terrence's place, okay? I wasn't super stinky, but I still had those fucking rain boots. And so I was wearing the rain boots, and it did not rain. It's not raining. So one of my managers was like, dude, you've got to go home. I know what you're doing. I totally get it. But if the GM was here, you already know he hates you. And he would absolutely find a reason to fire you for this shit. You have got to go get some different shoes. You can't keep showing up in the same outfit. I'm like, fuck. All right, you're right. But what he didn't call me on that day, even though he called me all wearing the same outfit, luckily what he did not call me on that day is that the night before I had gone to, so I'd washed my clothes after the first night. So I had clean shirt, clean shorts, same galoshes. Go back to Terrence's place the next night. We fuck again. I don't take my shirt off because I was wasted, tired. So we're banging. I pass out. I wake up. I put my pants on. I try to do this like we lick the bottoms of your fingers and you push up, get the eyeliner back on my face, and like bing, bing, boom, I gotta go to work. And I had to work a double that day. So I go to work this double and I'm bebopping around. And Raina comes up to me when she gets there for the dinner shift. And she's like, girl, you have a rough lunch? And I'm like, no, not really. It wasn't that. No. Why? She's like, oh, you've ranch all over your shirt. I was like, excuse me? And I looked down. And this is pre-breast reduction. Not that I could even see it now post-reduction because the boobs are still big. But pre-breast reduction, boobs are huge. And all the mirrors were only coming like from the tits up. And so I had no idea. Last night, when I was banging Terrence, he pulled out and he came on my shirt. And I worked that whole fucking double with jizz on my shirt. A lot of it, too. Thank God it looked like ranch. There's no fucking way it looked like ranch. So, yeah. So, that was kind of a rinse and repeat, no pun intended, part of my life. Like this post-divorce or in the middle of it kind of era. I really thank you, Terrence, for banging me when nobody would. No, that's not true. Thank you, Terrence, for taking me down when I was down and out. You're the best. I appreciate that. It was fun. It was really fun. Yeah. So eventually I move out and I give my ex-husband everything. I only take the coffee table and the couch. Coffee table so I had somewhere to put my stuff, like a shelf essentially. And the couch, so I had somewhere to sleep. I left him everything else. And so that's when I moved in with a couple of guys off of Craigslist who were really dope. Had a good time with them until one of them moved out. And then the other one found a side hustle that was kind of crazy. And we ended up having like hundreds and hundreds of birds in the house. Hundreds. Eggs, babies, full grown, just quail. Fucking quail everywhere. But we'll get to that. That's a different story for a different time. So stay tuned. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. Proud of myself that I didn't trash talk him too much. There's a lot more. If you're curious about it or anything, eventually I'll tell you everything. You just have to ask. Yeah. So I guess the reflection on that is that I got married in the first place, and I didn't realize it until after I got divorced, that when he said I could do this with you forever, I was really under the impression that no one, and I mean no one, was ever going to say that to me again. My self-esteem was so in the toilet that I really just was using my sexuality to try to fake like I had some. Which was ridiculous because she is beautiful, and she absolutely was beautiful back then. And I love her, that version of me, and I'm sorry that she had to deal with that, but we are making moves now, my darling. But anyway, I think I realized after I got divorced that the reason why I said yes to that shit in the first place, because I never got a proposal, I never got a ring, and not that those things matter, but it was all just so rushed, and it was so impromptu, and it wasn't romantic. It was desperation, because I genuinely thought that that was the only chance I was ever going to get for someone to say that they love me back. And that was not true at all, and I wish she would have known that. But I did learn a few things, and what I did learn was it's not about what you want. It's about what you fucking don't. It's the checklist of things that you will not tolerate. It's deal breakers. And I'm not talking petty ones. I'm talking about what you fucking deserve as a person and how you deserve to be treated by the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, or the person you even want to spend the next 15 fucking minutes with. It is absolutely up to you to establish boundaries. And it's up to you to set the bar for what you will and will not tolerate. And learning that lesson is fucking invaluable. So if that's what I needed to tough out those 5.5, 6 years of my life doing, then I'm glad. I'm glad I gave that man most of my 20s. But I am really glad that I came out of it knowing what I want, what I need, and learning how to fucking run those streets, you know? So yeah, next one we're gonna take a little casual, quick fire trip down Beau's Austin Heaux Lane, and there's several chapters in that, so we might have to stretch that and do a couple of episodes of just random weird fuck stories that don't really connect to each other. We're just gonna like drop them like little chaos bombs that have no connecting factor, or maybe they do. I don't know. I honestly haven't written the outline yet, so we'll have to find out later. But that leads into me moving to the Caribbean. So we still got to talk about the Heaux Lane. We still got to talk about the birdhouse. We got to talk about the chick who like set all my shit on fire. And we got to talk about what happens when I move to the Caribbean on accident. And yeah, it's gonna keep layering. It's gonna keep layering. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. Tell your therapist I said hi. And I'll see you next Tuesday.